Good evening and welcome to tonight's broadcast of the SPEED Xfinty Series here at Mobility Resort Motegi for the Gold Octopus Grand Prix here at Twin Ring Motegi. Joining me in the booth, as always, is Joe. I am Bob, and Joe, this race is going to be hectic for 45 laps. Road courses here are always highly entertaining, and tonight is going to be no different.
Oh yeah, we got a bunch of twists, a bunch of turns. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be real fun.
That is for sure. Checking out the chat, Peter Short pops in to say hi. Hey Peter, hope you're doing well. It's been definitely been a while, so welcome back in. For tonight's race, a couple of keys to keep an eye out for. First thing, save your tires. It's so easy to spin your tires coming out of these corners, especially with all the different elevation changes. So make sure you keep those tires fresh for the long run. Watch for your incidents as well. Here in the SPEED Xfinty Series, you wind up getting penalized in the points if you have more than 12 incidents in a race. So you got to watch out for those off tracks. They may be able to pick you up a little bit of time since the incidents don't really mean anything otherwise. But they're always going to be there to, hurt you in the point standings. And as we get closer to the playoffs, every single point matters. The next question: when is the stage? Only in road courses does the SPEED Xfinty Series have stage breaks. And Chris Darling was saying there's a chance he may not be racing here. So if he doesn't race here, we're getting the stage break at lap 20. If he does race, it'll be a random lap time, or on a random lap, sometime between laps 3 and 43, I believe. So, a little bit of gambling could pay off should Chris Darling be racing with us tonight. If not, stage break right at lap 20, and that should give these drivers a pretty good idea of when they need to come down to pit for tires, fuel, and all that sort of thing. Or do they gamble, pit a little early, get some track position after the yellow, stay out, get some stage points? Who knows? And it's going to be very, very interesting as this race goes on.
I can't wait.
So let's check in with some of our leaders. Right now, this driver, Martin Plute, is our second place driver. Let's jump on board for Martin as he does a lap here around Twin Ring Motegi. And as you'll see, we'll actually have our collab cam up on the stream. As we see Martin there, heavy concentration, turning hard in this left-hand turn, gets up to the apex through turn 4. Down this back straightaway.
It's interesting seeing these guys. You look at the cars and you don't think they're moving the wheel that much, but now you get to watch them live, and there is so much going on.
Yeah, there is quite a bit of movement out there on the track, and especially watching here. So he's getting into this left-hand turn and just has to slide and save the car. You can see right there a little bit of frustration on his face.
Nope.
But he's able to get it collected. Didn't hit anything, so he'll be able to keep this one going.
Yeah.
So you see here about a minute and a half left to go in practice. Plute only 0.6 of a second behind our fastest driver so far in the number 14 of Ethan Amberg. This is one of the most difficult corners on the track. Heavy speed. Heavy braking as well. Downhill into a bit of an awkward right-hand corner. Very easy to kick the back end out like we just saw a little bit, but a good save there from Plute. And here he is practicing to get on pit road. Not always the way you want to do right there.
You see him just, nah. I got close.
So that is our collab cam. We're going to go back to that a few times throughout tonight's broadcast just to see what Martin is up to. And if any other drivers watching do want to get involved with this, as Amberg is out doing donuts right now on the backstretch.
I like it. You know, you celebrate the pre-victory.
Exactly. You know, you got 8 seconds left in the session. Not looking like anyone is coming close to beating your lap time. Why not put a little intimidation into the hearts of everyone else?
Yeah.
Smaller field tonight. Only 8 drivers in the field for tonight's race, as the checkered flag is out. And we'll switch on over to qualifying. As right here, this camera angle can really show the different, you know, undulation of the track. See the different, just the turns and, you know, elevation changes throughout the racetrack.
Yeah, it's a wild change. As if all the turning wasn't enough.
Right. But now we're going to go out and do this one for real. Here's Martin Plout out to qualify. Tim Branson is out as well. Ethan Amberg here too. Couple of different corner cameras here that we have tonight. And tonight's broadcast is, of course, the Gold Octopus Grand Prix. Don't forget, you can check out the Gold Octopus on Etsy. Makers of some of the finest gifts, the best gifts you could possibly give to anyone. Make sure you check them out on Etsy. They have a whole selection of home goods, handmade decorations ranging from custom paintings, terrariums, planters, you name it, it's all there. Make sure you give them a follow over on Twitter as well as Instagram. And like I said, it's the perfect gift for those special people in your life. Make sure you check them out. It's the Gold Octopus over on Etsy.
Everything over there always is great.
And that's the thing. I see so many things that I'm just like, yes, I want this, but I also shouldn't be spending money.
Soon.
Yes. So Amberg's going to cross the line. He's going to get the green flag here on his run. No one up on the board quite yet, as Amberg, a little squirrely there coming out of the corner. Reese Bogue out as well. Here's Evan Williams down the back straightaway. Down the hill. And right there, Joe, that is going to be the toughest part, especially if you're racing somebody. Mm-hmm. You're going to get onto the brakes as hard as you can. That's going to kick you sideways. And if you're side by side with somebody else, that may not look too good.
Yeah. Yeah, not a very thick course. Not a lot of room to kind of be side by side.
Definitely not. As Plout gets off track just a little bit. That's going to negate his first lap time. Tim Branson here through the S's. Here he is coming into turn 9. Heavy braking for the left-hand corner. It snaps a little loose on him. Into the hairpin, all the way down. Very, very slow. Second gear, 50 miles an hour.
What a camera shot.
And now we're going to see all the way down this back straightaway. There he is at the top of the hill. Take a look at the speedo in the bottom left corner. 150 miles an hour, heavy, heavy braking, down to 55. That is such a difficult corner. Same with these final sections right there. and across the line. Let's see what Branson's first lap time is. Branson does a 2:04.9. Ethan Amberg, 2 minutes 0.9. Fastest lap so far of the day. Deus on the board there at a 2:08. And just like that, qualifying has wrapped up. And we'll take a look here at the starting grid for tonight's Gold Octopus Grand Prix here at Mobility Resort Motegi. Bit of a shorter pace lap. And only 8 drivers in the field for tonight. Ethan Amberg on the pole with a 2-minute 0.9. Tim Branson in second. Sedaris Deus in third. Reese Bogue fourth. Martin Plute, Stan Hausman make up row number 6, last week's winner. Evan Williams and Jason Shu round out the field in row number 4.
It's either going to be a very clean, great race, but it also has the potential to only have like 2 people finish.
Yeah, I think especially here with 45 laps on the board, you know, one wrong move could wipe out a large chunk of the field, especially into turn 1.
Yeah.
So I think, you know, drivers are really going to have to mind their P's and Q's for this one. As it's Amberg and Branson on the front row. Deus and Bogue in row 2. Row number 3, Plute, Hausman, Evan Williams, Jason Shu round out the field. Saw a couple of times drivers just overshooting their mark just a little bit. We saw Plute do it through the S's a couple of times. Shu made a couple of went off a couple of corners as well. Amberg spun out a few times. I mean, all it takes is one little tap of the grass.
Yeah.
And, you know, your whole night could be ruined.
Especially in some of these spots where there's not a lot of grass, you know, before a wall.
Yeah, exactly. You know, one wrong move, you're in the grass. The grass isn't going to have nearly as much grip. You're sliding. Next thing you know, you're in the wall and your night's done. But we'll see how this one goes. 45 laps. Stage caution will be at lap 20. Pace car is off. Field in the hands of the 14 of Ethan Amberg. Amberg gets ready, waits for the green flag. And the green flag is out. We're racing here at Mobility Resort Motegi. Great start there by Amberg. Amberg's going to drive this one in deep. A little bit of contact back towards the field. They're 3 wide. Here comes Reese Bogue through the middle. He's going to take P2. Move Bogue up to second. Deus to third. Tim Branson falls all the way back to 5th. Bogue on the attack right now. Bogue tries to put a little bit of pressure here on Amberg.
Was a good early on. Could have been a catastrophic right out of the gate, but really good that they were able to break apart and kind of separate and, you know, do where they got to go.
Yeah, we've got some good separation now for these leaders, but here comes Reese Bogue. Bogue on the attack, taking a look to put some more pressure on the 14 of Amberg. Bogue sneaks his nose in on the left side. Can't quite do it. He's going to double back here through the S's. Not quite yet. As they race off into turn 9, here comes Bogue for the lead. Put Reese Bogue up to P1. Oh, Branson goes around. Somehow he was able to save it. Deus went off as well. Let's take a look at that one real quick on the replay. Branson just locked him up. Able to get back going, though. Didn't lose all that much time either.
No, that's the thing with these tracks is, you know, there's so many twists and turns, and these things go so fast. You can kind of jump back where you missed a little bit.
Everyone else makes it cleanly through 11. Here's through turn 12. Now through 13 and 14, the final corner back on the front straightaway. Reese Bogue is going to lead lap 1. Bogue goes off track a little bit. That's going to open the gate for the 14 of Amberg. And now Amberg is just ahead by a nose. Joe, my question now is, can they keep this up for the next 45 laps?
Yeah, right? Without making a mistake. No doubt I think they can keep it up. It's just, can they do it without making a mistake?
For sure. As Bogue just about a car length lead over the 14 of Amberg. That gap is opening up a little bit. We jump on board with Bogue. Bogue a little sideways. Let's take a look to see how Martin Plute's doing.
He is not too far back.
Not at all. And that gap is closing. It says he's got a 2-second gap from him to the leader. But let's take a listen here. How is he going to tackle turn 11? Braking at the 200-meter board. Very calm on the throttle. So our top three starting to check out just a little bit. Evan Williams on a bit of his own island. And oh, trouble. Deus looks like he went around. Let's take a look at that one real quick. As here he is into turn 12. 13 right there, and just caught it a little sharp and had to spin out.
Just that little tiny bit of grass, and then that's it. You just spin it.
Meanwhile, while we're watching that, here comes Plute. He's going to put the charge in on the 14 of Amberg. Amberg thought, or Plute rather, thought about trying to make a move. Couldn't quite get it there. And right now, if I'm Bogue, I'm sitting there saying, yes, yes, please wreck. Please fight. Let me drive away. And up some more trouble towards the back. Jason Shu has an incident. Him and Stan Hausman fighting for position. Let's go into turn 3.
Yeah, you saw a little bit of smoke. That's all it takes.
A little tiny lockup, and that's just going to send him straight off into the grass.
It's always interesting. So far, I've seen it's been the driver's side rear, I guess, brake pad is when you see that little bit of smoke, and then that's it. You're going left.
Yeah, and these cars really do use a lot of rear brake, because the more brake you have towards the back of your car, the easier it is to help you turn. That being said, too much rear brake, your car's back end wants to try to beat the front end out of the corner.
Too much turn.
Yeah, too much turn. Whereas if you have more front brake, you're going to stop longer, but it's going to be harder to turn because all the brake is on your front tires and your front wheel, and you can't really carry the momentum around.
Oh, that makes sense.
So that's why when we see cars spin out like that, the back end kind of locks up and the back end wants to try to beat the front half out of the corner. Looks like Shu and Houseman both go off track, but they're back on and away. About a 2-second gap now between Branson and Williams. Here is this battle for fourth. As Williams goes off track just ever so slightly. Meanwhile, out front through the S's and past the S's, here is that battle between Williams and Branson. Leaders through the hairpin, down the back straightaway now. And you can see there that pavement is not flat. It's very, very bumpy.
Yeah, again, because nothing else on this track is super difficult. Let's make it harder.
Not to mention the oval track that they're not racing on tonight, but that oval track is deceptively difficult as well. It's a large 1.5-mile track, very wide, very flat banking. Takes a lot of skill to get around that track properly, let alone throwing in some right-hand corners and elevation changes here on the road course side. Sadly, after some earthquakes in Japan, the oval is no longer usable. Hence the drop of the name Twin Ring Motegi, seeing as though there were 2 racetracks here.
That makes sense now.
As you can see it there in the background of these shots. But now it's turned really into a 2-car race between Bogue and Amberg.
Yeah, for a second I was going to say Bogue really kind of pulled out, and, you know, that was that, but Amberg is right back in it.
Yeah, and he's really been able to, he kind of shook Plute, and now Amberg really putting some pressure there on the 04 of Bogue.
Yeah.
Oh, and Bogue goes wide!
I was just going to say it. Every now and then, Bogue just taps a little too much brake going into these turns, or he goes a little wide, so he has to slow down a little bit more. And I think Amberg has been able to capitalize on each one of those times.
Yeah, and that's kind of how this track is. It's very dependent, and road courses in these cars in general are so dependent on where you brake, where you're able to carry your momentum, and one little hair of a mistake is gonna be magnified tenfold. We heard there a little bit. You can hear the engine kind of judder. That's wheel hop.
You know.
And wheel hop obviously very bad for your traction.
Yeah, not something you want. I know it sounds fun. You don't want it.
No. Especially heading into 11 down the hill.
Yeah, exactly. Especially that. As someone who has experienced wheel hop, not a fan.
No, it is very scary.
Yeah.
So there are your leaders right now. Your top 3 separated by about 4.5 seconds. Top 2 under a second. Oh, Bogue goes off. Amberg goes off.
Yeah, I think he was falling a little too close.
That was definitely one of those. Oh yeah, I should be watching in front of me, not the car in front of me.
Yeah. Oops.
As Bogue goes wide again.
That gave Bogue almost a second though.
Yeah, and honestly, Joe, look at that. Look at the ticker. Plute now only 4 seconds back. He was about 5, almost 5.5 a couple laps ago.
Yeah.
So all this heavy fighting is really going to bring Plute into the mix again.
Yeah.
Branson gets around Williams. Take a look at that pass here. Branson the inside. Williams just says, all right, bud, go for it. All you. I am shocked they're able to keep that thing under control down on the rumble strips.
Yeah.
Far less grip on those rumble strips. And for them to rumble like that, there is, only, maybe half an inch, maybe to an inch of elevation difference between the rumble strips. Hence how it's able to make that noise. Yeah. You would think braking on that is going to kick the car sideways, but these guys are all professional.
Yeah. That's, I've always wanted to see one of those in person. Not the ones that are on the highway that are just like, we know how those are formed. Yep. But I've always wanted to see like the real ones. Like how do these things work?
Well, New Jersey Motorsports Park is fairly close, so
that is true.
There's always the road trip there. So the gap now between Bogue and Amberg opens up to about a second. A little further back, Branson and Williams, that fight is still rolling on.
Yeah.
By the way, New Jersey Motorsports Park, about 45 minutes from my apartment. Just pointing that one out.
I think that's where my buddy just signed up.
Fun things ahead for the Tabletop Trio podcast, that's for sure. Oh, Branson gets sideways, somehow able to keep it going the right direction. That holds up Williams, but Williams is now all over his back bumper.
Yeah, you got to imagine that's just going to be, yep. No, wow, really?
As now it's going to be a long drag race down, up towards the crest and then down the hill. Branson has the position, but here comes Williams. Is Williams going to try to make a dive? No. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, not this time.
But yes, tomorrow's episode of the Tabletop Trio podcast, we're going to have a bit of a replay. Oh, the 33 Williams gets sideways there. Replay of our episode over the weekend at the Gundam Kitchen. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be doing some more, what would you say, clerical work for the podcast tomorrow night for the three of us.
Yeah, some background stuff.
It'll be a good intro for a change, if you catch my drift. But meanwhile, while we've been watching this little battle, it's opened up to about a second and a half. Let's take a look here at the lead, because that gap has shrunk significantly. Half a second now separates Bogue and Amberg.
Yeah. Flute seems to have fallen off pretty hard.
Yeah, we see here on the track the 04 and the 14 all over each other. 81 a little bit just by himself. 33 and 92 having a good fight.
Yeah.
And then Deus, Houseman, and Shu just kind of hanging out, doing their own thing, putting in clean laps, and just collecting points. And that's the thing. Tonight is a big points night for these drivers who are racing, because they're going to pick up a ton of points over the guys who are not racing, which obviously that's how that works.
Yeah.
But it is a huge boon to guys like Plute, like Bogue, like Amberg, these guys here who are up towards either the top of the standings versus guys who are, who are towards the top but are not racing. Let's take a look here with the points. Have not been updated since iRacing Super Speedway, but guys, look at this at the very top. Reese Bogue, Martin Plute, they're going to be able to open that gap over Chris Darling since he's not racing. Evan Williams is going to close the gap against Chris Darling. After iRacing Super Speedway, only a 3-point gap between Evan Williams and Chris Darling, so we can swap those. Nicholas Cody's not here, Kirby's not here, Reagan's not here, so Hausman and Branson and Amberg, all plenty of time for them to pick up all of those extra points. So this is going to be huge for those guys.
Yep, big for Deus too.
Yeah, I mean,
He's
Deus
not
right
that
now
far off in that top 10.
He really isn't. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's all going to work. And by the way, there's only a handful of races until the playoffs, which Speed Xfinity Series does have a playoff. The Milwaukee Mile next week is the final race of the regular season. Everyone's still going to be able to race, just like with the NASCAR playoffs. But after the Milwaukee Mile, it's a 5-race shootout to determine the champion. Everyone who's in the top 10, their points reset to 4,000 points. And then there's various bonus points the drivers get for wins, positions, etc., etc. Big slide on board for the 14 of Amberg. Let's take a look at that one again, because that was a huge, huge slide.
Yeah.
Yeah, big lockup in the rears. That sends him around.
Yeah, you never want to see or be able to read Goodyear on those tires while they're moving.
Definitely not. Trouble for Sidarius Deus as well. Deus out wide. This is through the S's. And it just kicks sideways on him.
Yeah. And now he's in the grass a little bit. I'm wondering if we're getting to a tire change point. Cars seem to be getting a little bit more sloppy.
Yeah, I really do think that's going to be the case. As right now, we're 10 laps in, another 10 laps until a stage break. I think right now some of these guys might have burned off the rears, which is never a good thing.
Yep, there goes Plute rubbing the grass a little bit.
Plute goes out wide.
Whoa, real wide.
And then Plute just says, you know what? I'm just going to cut through and, we'll just go at it from there.
Yeah. I'm already here.
Why not, right?
That's me in every Gran Turismo game as a teenager.
As we see the gaps here at the top of your screen, Bogue just driving away from it. 6-second lead over the 14 of Amberg.
Looks like Diaz actually did pit. Whoa, as Hausman is all up in the sand.
Yeah, Hausman just a little too light on the brakes. He's going to go out wide.
Crush a couple cones.
They're fine. Deus does leave pit lane. So we'll move Shu ahead of Deus. And we see here the 04 of Reese Bogue. He is picking up the scent of the 12 of Deus.
A little wide there on him too. I really think these tires are not doing great.
Yeah, I think at this point all of their tires are just cooked a little bit too much.
Yeah.
And right now, if I'm Bogue, I'm sitting there saying, all right, I've got about a 6.5 second lead. Maybe I can back it down just a tiny bit.
Yeah, I mean, these are long lap times. So I don't know if you're going to be able to pick up 9 laps before the stage break. With how these tires are performing currently.
Yeah, no, there's really not going to be a whole lot of pickup. It's going to be, honestly, it's going to be for a lot of drivers to sit there, try to keep their stuff as cool as possible, because maybe tire wear may not be the issue. It might just be more so tire heat. But that being said, looks like, oh, Evan Williams has a bit of an off track. Same section as Stan Hausman, but he's able to keep it going. The gap between Amberg and Plout has closed to about 2 seconds.
Yeah, Bogue seems to just be running away with it.
Let's get a check in here with Plout. Down this long front straightaway. Heavy braking into turns 1 and 2. And that's kind of the biggest struggle is waiting as long as you can to get back on the gas. You see the guy in front of you start to check out a little bit. You really want to push, but you know your tires don't want to.
Yeah. So just looking at lap times here. Bogue's best lap time was 2 minutes flat, almost 2.01. But otherwise has been putting down 2.3 second laps pretty consistently. When you move over to Amberg, you can see lap 8 was a 2.3, lap 9 was a 2.8, then 10 and 11 both 2.4 or 2.04. So they are just not able. I think Bogue is just doing a little bit better with his tires and however he's controlling his car to kind of keep consistent laps.
Yeah, and that's going to be the name of the game, just consistency for these guys. As
Jason
we see
Chu
Bogue,
actually. Yep.
Go ahead.
I was going to say Jason Chu just threw down his best lap on lap 10.
Yeah, Shu goes to a 210.45. Shu, the next car on Bogue's list to be lapped.
Mm-hmm. Nope.
As Amberg heads down pit road.
No, he did not get to pit road. You might want to instant replay that one.
Let's take a look here. Try to get a better camera angle. Oh, that is certainly not pit road. We'll take a quick look here.
As we're bringing that up, Day has actually just spun out. Where was he? Turn 1 or 2.
So let's take a look here at Amberg. Amberg goes out wide and says, you know, guys, I am going to pit. And, oh, too much rear brake. Gets into the wall. Able to drive off for the most part. Here's the incident Joe was talking about with Deus. Deus into turn 1. Looks good. Out of 2. Just a little too much gas. And he's going to kick it around. Williams gets around Branson. Where it looks like Branson was on pit road at the time. So Branson finishes up his stop. Amberg in third now, about 43 seconds back. Martin Plout, 8 seconds behind Bogue.
Mm-hmm.
As you can see the gap right there, Bogue did get around Jason Shu.
Nope.
As Bogue has the same issue.
Well, he just missed the road completely. And here comes Plute, who
Jason
makes it
Shu,
into pits.
Jason Shu, while all that's happening, has an incident. Shu misses the entry to pit road. Very confusing pit entry.
Yeah, that's where Bogue just in that you can see the tires. That was Reese Bogue. He just kind of forgot he was in a NASCAR and tried to just dirt race for a little bit.
Yeah, let's take a look here. We'll have this one rewound. As yeah, he does the exact same thing that yep, because you see right there.
Yeah, it comes in real hot.
Let's roll this one back just a little bit. You see right there in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen, you see those orange cones. You actually want those cones to be on the passenger side of your car. As Bogue comes through here, I think he realizes it here where he's like, oh,
Yeah.
that is not where I need to be.
They have full commitment at that point, though. What are you going to do?
Yeah, there's really nothing else he can do. Takes out one of the pylons. Luckily, though, he doesn't get into the wall.
Yeah, and he gets to speed, which is kind of impressive.
Very impressive. So right now, Bogue still your leader with a 3.8 second gap over Plute. Williams down on pit road. Hausman down on pit road as well. Deus coming into the hairpin. Bogue just behind him. $14 laps into this one. We've got a long way ahead of us.
Yeah. And Bogue just... I mean, Plute has made up some time, but... Let's see his... Roll real quick to Bogue. Let's see what his first lap looks like after a new set of tires and some gas.
Bogue there through the final corner.
I'm interested to see what Plute took versus Bogue, because Plute's pit stop was about 20 seconds. Bogue's was about 30 seconds.
Well, let's take a look here. Yeah, it looks like Plute might have only taken 4 tires. Because looking at the screen here, Bogue's pit stop time was 15.3 versus Plute's 8.1.
Mm-hmm.
Which, honestly, that might be a good idea. If I'm Plute, I'm sitting there, all right, you know, that'll keep me ahead of Amberg. Because figure that 8 seconds, there's a 3-second gap between Plute and Amberg right now. If Plute took 4 tires, Amberg would be in front of him. So that right there might have been the difference between getting 11 stage points versus 10 stage points, which 1 point may not make a difference right now. But coming into the playoffs after next week, things could change.
Definitely. I mean, it's smart, too. They know that there's a stage coming up at 20, so, you know, when you make 5 laps.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to have to survive. We saw drivers have to survive 10 laps last night in TNR after taking 2 tires, so anything is possible. Which, if you're a fan of racing, you need to check out last night's Total Nonstop Racing League race here on both Twitch and YouTube, because that was a phenomenal last 10 laps.
Yeah, it was pretty great.
So here comes Bogue coming out of the final section of corners. Get the drone cam up and running.
That shot's such an awesome shot.
Right. Through turns 1 and 2. blimp high above. Oh, trouble for Sidarius Deus. Another issue. Looks like Deus off track yet again, unfortunately. And he's going to call it quits. Shu also gets around him. Through the S's now for Bogue. Through 9. Getting ready to make his way through the hairpin. Down the straightaway that's normally uses the front stretch for the western course. Oftentimes these road courses can be divvied up into different sections.
It's still wild to me. You look at some of the oval tracks, and some people are like, "Oh yeah, I'm racing that this weekend." I'm like, "The oval?" And they're like, "No, the inside course." I'm like, "The what now?"
Yeah, yeah, we're just racing at the Roval. We had a friend do one of the sports car experiences at Pocono Raceway over the summer, and he got to drive on one of the 4 different road course configurations Pocono has.
Yeah, it blew my mind. I was like, "Wait a minute, I was there. Where?" And then they show me, and I'm like, "Oh, that's what all those roads were for."
Mm-hmm. They're not just campgrounds during the NASCAR weekend.
Yeah, it's not just where the ambulance sits. I get it now.
Meanwhile, we've got ourselves a battle for second, 2 tires versus 4 tires, and Amberg says, "Yep, I'll take that. Thank you very much."
Yeah, the amount of time he was able to make up is pretty wild.
It really was.
He was, what, 9 seconds behind? 10 seconds behind?
Yeah, and I mean, even then, looking at that, Bogue and Plout pitted on lap 13. Amberg pitted back on lap 12. So that extra lap for Amberg really got him that momentum, for lack of a better phrase. And you can hear Plout there really feathering the throttle. I want to take another look at that pass from of Amberg around Plout, because I'm curious to hear if Plout actually lifted off or if Amberg just drove by him. Yep, he just let off and said, "Go for it, you're faster." So Plout into turn 11, now through 12.
Oop. Looks like Williams skidded a little bit off the track.
A lot of rear brake is going to kick him sideways there.
The story is old as time.
Too much rear brake kicks you around. Copy paste. Bogue through 11. Or pardon me, that was through turn 5, I believe. Now Bogue looking to set his sights on Stan Hausman. 2.5 laps or so until the stage break. Right now, Shu is saying, please do not pass Hausman. Because right now, Shu would be getting the lucky dog.
Yeah.
And barring anything catastrophic, that would essentially clinch Shu a 7th place finish.
Mm-hmm.
Hard into the brakes, through the right-hander.
Yeah, if you're Bogue, though, I mean, you got to take that spot. The Hamburg is 11 seconds behind, but if you're following Hausman, you know, I need to keep my pace.
Exactly, even if it is a little bit slower pace, just as to not, mess your stuff up too much.
No.
But so far, Hal's been able to hold strong on the outside, but here comes Bogue.
And there he goes.
So barring anything crazy or the admins just giving Shu his lap back as well, that move right there very well could solidify Shu to only 7th place finish should anything else crazy happen during the race.
Yeah.
But with the way this one's been, it's been clean. Obviously, it's been green. But barring anything else crazy happening, looks like Shu may very well be finishing 7th.
Yeah.
Which he is guaranteed those stage points. The way this works, typically in a field, top 12, in a full field, top 12 drivers get stage points. 12 for driver 1, 11 for 2, and so on and so forth. Down the straightaway. All the way down the hill. I mean, the speed that they're carrying from about 150 miles an hour down to 50 miles an hour.
Yes, it's wild.
Back up to 100. And then we'll see back down to about 50.
The G-Force game must be insane.
Oh, yes. As Bogue's going to cross the line, we should be getting the yellow flag soon. In theory. Really not a whole lot of close battles out there on the racetrack right now. Bogue has a 9.5 second gap. Amberg's got about a 9.5 second big gap. Plute's got about a
minute.
Almost a minute gap. And then Branson's got another 30 some odd seconds gap.
Yeah.
And Williams to Hausman, it's a ways.
Yeah. Well, you figure the laps have been going about 2 minutes 3 seconds to 2 minutes 10 seconds, so got another figure 40 seconds.
For sure. It looks like Jason Shu goes for a bit of a ride off into the dirt.
Nope.
Hausman off track, but he'll recover. There's Ethan Amberg just behind him. So it looks like it should be coming out likely upon the completion of lap 20. Again, tonight's race is the Gold Octopus Grand Prix here at Mobility Resort Motegi. As here comes Bogue. He'll complete lap 20. We've got 25 laps to go.
Amberg scoots in front of Houseman.
Yeah, good smart move there by Hausman. Just to say, all right, you're faster than me. You're on the lead lap. Go get him, Tiger. I will say, though, I am slightly confused as to why the yellow has yet to come out. By the way, tonight is the Gold Octopus Grand Prix. Make sure you check them out on Etsy. They've got a whole selection of home goods and handmade decorations. And they've got everything from custom paintings, terrariums, planters, you name it, it's all there. You can check them out on Instagram, check them out on Twitter, and it's the perfect gift for anyone in your life. Again, make sure to check them out. It's the Gold Octopus on Etsy. All handmade stuff. Looks so cool. So it looked like a little bit of smoke there from in front of Bogue. Did not see where that one came from, though. Let's take a look here at that, because that was certainly interesting. And looks like that was just some extra smoke laying around from the last time someone had gone off. Bogue, the point leader, coming into tonight's contest. Through the S's. Amberg 9 seconds back, and looked like Plute lost a ton of time. Now Plute 26 seconds behind the leader. Not seeing any damage on the 81, so he's able to keep it going in the right direction. However, it looks like there is some trouble for the 39 Houseman. Carrying a lot of speed.
Yep. I mean,
honestly,
pretty solid drift.
That was impressive. Very Tokyo drift coated. We are in Japan after all.
Was it supposed to happen? No. Did it look sick? Kind of.
And honestly, that's all that matters.
That's all style points.
Little Scandi flick to go in. You turn the wheel right and then hard left to get yourself to transfer the weight and slide around the corner.
Couldn't have done it better myself, because I would have been crashed.
Looks like Stan Houseman first to flinch down pit road for a second time. Either that or he's going to go repair his tire, pick up some new tires.
Yeah, which I'm a little confused about, because I was expecting a yellow.
I was too. But at this point, I think it might be a foregone conclusion. Oh, as Evan Williams gets squirrely right in front of the leader.
Yeah, it's not going to make you feel great about trying to pass.
Yeah, let's take a look here, because that was certainly interesting.
Bogue trying to get there real quick.
As we see Evan Williams here in the red and yellow machine. Heavy braking and whoa, big slide. He's able to keep that going. But here comes Reese Bogue to get around him. Bogue does finally get around Williams, as Williams off track just a tiny bit to let him go. Bogue has opened up an 11-second gap back to Amberg. So what we're saying basically is Bogue could take a couple of laps off, do a couple of donuts, and still have enough time to keep the lead.
Flute with a little bit of a skid.
Let's see, it looks like Williams also has an issue. Another lockup. I feel like Williams might have his brake bias set a little bit too forward now, because we saw there he locked up the front as opposed to the rears. Because that is one thing that's adjustable in these cars. As the driver, you can adjust your brake bias. Move it forward to give you more forward brake. You can, move it backwards to give you more rear brake. But typically, you can only move plus or minus 3% of whatever your car is set at.
I was gonna say, is that live, or is that like you have to go into the pits for that?
Nope, that is live. If you, we'll take a look here on the in-car. And you may not be able to see it here, but there's a bright red toggle switch. Which probably not going to be able to see it here. But there's a bright red toggle switch that the driver can reach down and twist one way for forward, the other way for reverse.
Oh. Oh, Flute. Again, firmly in the grass, and again decides, well, I'm already here.
Through the S's yet again, too.
Yeah. This time, ride that one out real clean.
Hey, he's just kind of trying to cool off the tires a little bit. It's a legitimate strategy.
The grass is cool, right?
Right. Well, there was actually a meta that a lot of professional iRacers would do, as they would kind of dip their tires off into the grass, pick up an incident point, but that would actually cool the tires off and hyper cool them to the point where they would almost feel brand new. That has since been patched, which I can only imagine why.
So don't try that at home.
No, as here's Hausman coming through the hairpin there. Martin Plute heads down pit road. So 21 laps to go, Joe. This could be the money stop. This could be the last stop of the race. Left side tires go on. Right side tires on now. As we see, it was... Wow, Hausman only went 8 laps between pitting.
Yeah.
Whereas now Plute just sitting in his box. There might have been a penalty involved.
I didn't see any penalties on him pop up.
I just find it odd that Plute's sitting in the box for that long.
Yeah.
Unless he was caught speeding entering. Or entering the wrong way through pit road.
I mean,
which I am actually interested now to see what had happened. Let's take a quick look here at the replay, because there are specific cones you have to drive through. So if a driver doesn't, that could be our issue. So we'll see here. Let's slow this one down. So heavy braking into the right-hander. Cuts the corner just a little bit. Cuts it again just a little bit. So no penalty there unless you got a slowdown coming onto pit road, which could just penalize him that way. But as we say that, more trouble. This time for the 39.
Ooh.
Oh, big spin. Just touched the grass and went around.
Yeah.
Amberg heads down pit road too. So he's down and away. Now it's just on to Reese Bogue.
Who is, for all intents and purposes, just putting on a clinic. If you look at his lap times, consistent would be a word.
Yeah, look at that. Lap 21, 2:01.8. 22, 3:11. 23, 2:07. 24, 3:07. 25, 2:09. All within about a second, which on a road course this big, a second, really is not terrible at all.
His slowest lap of the race, barring pit runs, has been a 2:05.
Wow. Whereas some drivers' best lap
It's
has been a
2:07.
2:06, 2:07.
Yeah.
There's a 2:10 in there.
Yeah.
So now let's see if Bogue comes down pit road. He does, and he misses pit entry again.
Not as bad as last time, though. At least he was on asphalt.
You know what? That is a very valid point.
He didn't take the dirt road.
He just took the alternate way into coming down pit road. As
Why-
Branson leaves.
Why gotta put asphalt there if you don't want me to use it?
Yeah. Why out of bounds if paved?
Yeah.
Why not friend if friend shaped?
Use more cones. Is all I'm saying.
So his crew gets to work. And he's really sitting there. He might have gotten a penalty too, Joe.
No. Which is big news for Ethan Amberg.
That is for sure. Because if we take a look, Martin Plute was on pit road for 56 seconds.
Yeah.
Ethan Amberg has taken over the lead. So this could be a huge turn of events.
Mm-hmm. Has Amberg pitted?
Yes, Amberg pitted a couple of laps ago.
Okay, so this is just...
Yeah, Amberg pitted back on lap 25, which would give him a 20-lap shootout to the end. He did 13 laps. He did 12 laps, then he did 13 laps. He still may need to pit one more time. As Houseman goes off track. Looks like Bogue right there on the inside. Houseman just goes wide.
Yeah.
Through the gravel.
And now Bogue with a lot of time to make up.
26 seconds in 19 laps.
Which
If
it
you're
looks like
watching tonight, let us know in the chat. Does Bogue catch Amberg?
math isn't always my strong suit. But Ethan Amberg is putting down 203 to 205-ish lap times. Bogue has been putting down 201 to 203. So it's about 2 seconds a lap. So he very well might catch him.
This could get interesting for sure.
And that's assuming no pits are involved after, which I'd have to imagine that they both need to pit again in the next 19 laps.
So I just put a question in the chat over on our YouTube channel. Does Bogue catch Amberg? Let us know. Put in your votes now. So, Joe, 2 seconds a lap, plus pit stops in there.
Yeah, which is going to be the big one, because if they miss the pit again, that's big.
Yes. So figure 2 seconds a lap. We have 18 laps. That's 36 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
Bogue's only behind by 24.
Yeah. But if they pit and he gets that flag again, that's it. Because Amberg has been, well, according to our pit stops, not being flagged.
So let's take a look here. Let's refresh our viewers' memory. Amberg last pitted on lap 25, Bogue on 26, Plute on 24. Right now, Plute is about a minute behind Amberg. Branson about 30 seconds behind Plute. 30 seconds ahead of him is Bogue. Bogue's got about 24 seconds, and if he's about a second a lap faster, or 2 seconds a lap faster, he very well could make it. But pit stops are still available. That time by, Joe, Bogue a second and a half slower than Amberg.
Interesting.
Let's see what the numbers are this time by, as Bogue is going to cross the line, or Amberg rather is going to cross the line.
I wonder if that's because he had to pass Williams.
That very well could be. So Amberg did a 2:02.36. We're going to have to wait a little while, but let's take a look to see what happened. Here's Bogue crossing the line. That time Bogue was 1.7 seconds faster. Oh, and some trouble here for Jason Shu. This is heading into the S's.
Notorious that spot today.
Big slide there for him.
Yeah, that was front and back smoke.
And just a full-on lockup.
Yeah, lockup across the board.
So still a large gap, 22 seconds between Amberg and Bogue.
Yeah, looking at Amberg's lap times, he is finding his groove now, putting in 2:01, 2:02 second laps.
So Bogue, you see right there, that gap is shrinking.
Oop, Hausman in the grass again. Or sand? Sand.
Both Amberg and Bogue have made 2 stops in this race.
Amberg just throwing a lap for lap 29, 2:01.8. Bogue, 2.8.
Very interesting.
Made up 1 second, but 1 second isn't going to cut it with 16 to go and a 22-second gap.
Let's take a look here. with the track temps right now. 16 laps to go, 81-degree track temp, so still a decent amount of grip out on the track. Couple of votes in the poll. Let us know if you think Bogue is going to catch Amberg. We've already got a few, and the poll is currently sitting at 100% yes.
Which I don't know now. Amber seemed to find like his second wind. He's putting in phenomenal laps.
This is going to get wild. Bogue, last lap, ran his best lap of the race at a 2-minute .5.
Wow.
Both laps, looks like Bogue was about a second faster than Amberg.
Yeah,
Amberg
so
crosses
far.
the line. 15 laps to go. 21.7, so call that 22-second gap. We're going to have to see a 2 in this column if Bogue is going to catch Amberg. And look at that. 0.2 faster was Amberg. Those yeses may not be getting their wish tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. Amberg really seems like he has really found his line.
Let's jump on board here with Amberg. But Joe, don't forget, there is still one more round of pit stops, and these drivers are just about in their window. If they can do anywhere between 15 to 13 laps, they're right there, and they're in this window.
So there is one wild card that we have to account for. If they catch Branson, which they're one straight away from each other, Amberg and Branson, is Branson going to play nice?
You know, that is a very, very valid question. I feel like Branson is. But crazier things have happened.
Yeah. As Bogue is down to almost 20 seconds. So he is shaving time, but...
So let's see here. Amberg puts in a lap. Did a 2:02.7.
Oop, oop. That same turn that he is taking the shortcut on, he continues to pave a way for.
The S is just very, very difficult. And I'm sure at this point for these drivers, the fatigue has set in.
It's a lot
They're
of
tired.
turning.
And Joe, that time by, Reese Bogue, 1.2 seconds faster than Amberg.
Yeah, I mean, let's see if he can break 20, because it seems like he's been going up and down.
About 20 on the board right now. Here is the Martin Plute incident from earlier.
Really feel like at some point that'll be paved, and we'll just call that the Mountain Bend. Yeah, I think it's a good adjustment.
I think it's great too. And plus, a lot of those European tracks, I know we're in Japan, but a lot of European tracks, their corners are named. They're not just turn 1, turn 2. It's Corpse, it's Maggots, it's Beckett's, it's all these different corners.
I'm here for it.
I mean, hell, there's a corner at one of the tracks literally just called Bitch.
Bogue has broken the 20-second mark.
I was just about to mention that. 19 and a half seconds, 14 laps to go. Bogue is going to have to get on the loud pedal if he's going to catch Amberg. However, we've mentioned it before, pit stops are coming. Penalties could be coming as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the last time through. Let's take a look at pit stop times. Ethan Amberg, 14.9. Reese Bogue, 54.3 seconds with that penalty. Same goes for Martin Ploot. If those penalties didn't exist, figure what? 40 seconds off for Bogue?
Mm-hmm.
That would put Bogue in the position Amberg is in.
Yeah.
And vice versa. That would be a 20-second lead for Bogue. But because of that penalty, that's why we see Bogue here 20 seconds back. As Stan Hausman heads down pit road to make his final stop. Looks like the floodgates should start to open now for these drivers. Here's Amberg through the Martin Ploot S's. Now in towards the hairpin. Hausman down and away, 15-second pit stop. Great job by his crew. Top four drivers all on the lead lap. Here comes Amberg. Is he going to pit? No. Branson does. So here's Tim Branson on pit road.
Uh-huh.
Looks like all is well for him. So we should be seeing a 15-second pit stop thereabouts. We see Bogue in the background. That gap to Bogue back up to 20 seconds.
Yeah. And Branson, who we were worried about would Amberg have an issue passing, just dipped off in the pit, so crisis averted.
Yeah, no issues there. Bit of a smaller field here tonight, but the action still just as good. Martin Ploot heads down pit road. If you are watching us, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight here on the SPEED Xfinity Series. If you like what you see, feel free to follow along. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, follow us on Twitch, like the video, share it with your friends and family, and all that fun stuff. Really do appreciate it. Just hit the 50 subscriber milestone, so we're looking to double that and get up to 100 subs. So we really would appreciate it. Just hitting that subscribe button, as Amberg thought about heading to pit road, but he doesn't. He's got to be getting close to empty.
Yeah, I got to imagine. It'll be worst case scenario, you run out of gas.
Leading with a 21-second lead.
Do NASCARs have a little red light to let you know you're really low on gas?
Nope, but they've got a fuel pressure gauge. You see that gauge right there to the left-hand side of the tachometer. currently being blocked by the hand of Amberg.
Mm-hmm.
That is the fuel pressure gauge.
I'm assuming not our car, not our statistics kind of situation.
Yes. Yeah, I don't believe that is live. The only live gauge
It's RPMs.
should be the RPMs. But then again, I am seeing the oil and water temps to the left-hand side. They are starting to fluctuate a little bit, so maybe that fuel pressure gauge is accurate. It's actually not something I actually thought about.
As Amberg is making a bigger opening. Bogue now almost 22 seconds behind.
Wow. Yeah, let's take a look here. That time by, Amberg was about a second faster than Bogue. And now this might be the Who Blinks first game. Who will pit first? Will Bogue wait until Amberg pits? Or is Amberg just going to say, nope, I got this? That time by, Amberg does a 2:03.52. 10 laps left.
Bogue does also not pit.
That time by, Bogue 0.3 faster, but not going to be enough.
I really wonder what happened in the pits that he got flagged for. We don't see it in the chat history. I don't see any errors or anything like that. So
typically, if you don't enter pit road the way iRacing wants you to enter pit road, you'll wind up getting a slowdown. And if you enter pit road with a slowdown still intact, that turns into a course-cutting penalty. So odds are that is what happened. But speaking of issues...
yeah, this was a big slide.
Hausman, he downshifted into the corner, and that kicked him sideways.
Nice big shit. As he rolls around and
Hausman with the Brookstone Animal Hospital on board. Car got a little bit of zoomies there out of the corner. So let's see, is Amberg going to pit now? We've been asking, we've been looking. The answer is no.
I wonder what is he going to aim for 8? Is he going to aim for 7? What is his? Just try to end it real strong.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure, to be honest with you.
Because I don't think he could finish. I don't think he could do 9 laps.
No, I don't think he can, because... oh, shoe goes off. So Amberg last pit on lap 25. He also pit on lap 12, so that's 13 laps from 12 to 25. From 25 on, that would have been lap 38 out of 45.
Mm-hmm.
So if he can do 13 laps again, he should be coming in with only a couple more laps to go.
Right. I think Bogue's game or Plute's game plan was hope they both get flagged. I already took my pit.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, if both Amberg and Bogue take that penalty, let's say it's a minute, Plute is still going to be a minute behind almost.
Yeah.
So the poll has ended over on YouTube, and the vote was unanimous, saying that Reese Bogue will catch Amberg. The timing, Joe, don't look now. 16 and a half seconds and closing. Now back up to 17 for Bogue.
I was going to say that we have decreased about 3 seconds. I think we scoot over to Amberg. His lap times are starting to slide up. He's now in the 203 to 205 times, as to where Bogue is still putting down 203 to 202s. So it looks like Bogue is able to sustain his tires longer in these later laps, is what I see. As to where it looks like Amberg might be riding a little harder, and he starts to get a little bit more slippery in his later laps.
Yeah, and I mean, taking a look here, that time by, Bogue 2.2 seconds faster than Amberg. And if he keeps that pace, he's going to catch him. But catching him is one thing, passing him is something completely different.
Yeah.
So we'll see here. It's been 13 laps since Amberg came down pit road. If he continues that trend, we will likely see Amberg pit here.
Yep.
And he does. He hits the corner. He hits the other corner. No penalty coming for Amberg, likely.
Now let's see if Bogue is going to be pitting as well.
So here's Amberg. Here's Bogue. Bogue does what Amberg does. He makes it through. There is the gap. Amberg down and away as Bogue dives down pit road. This could be the race for the win.
Took him 20 seconds to get into his box.
Likely pit road speed, I believe, is 37 miles an hour.
It is indeed 37.
Thanks to the stupid KPH. Because that's a round number. But here in America, it's only 37. 37 in freedom units. So that gap went from 17 seconds to now 21 and a half seconds.
Yeah.
7 laps to go.
Ooh.
Fresh tires for Amberg.
Shoe just... I'll take the wide. Don't worry. You're good. Here you go.
That is exactly what happened there.
And
I'm sure Bogue had a little bit of a heart attack there. Oh no, oh no, oh okay, we're good. So Amberg's lead is now up to 22 seconds. Bogue has about a minute ahead of Martin Plute.
Oop, Williams. Oop, ding the wall. Three-way reverse. Everything's fine. No one needed to see that.
Oh, big slide, little tap.
We'll tap.
Crunched up the button, or crunched up the nose just a little bit.
Yeah.
But he's down and away.
He was hoping nobody caught that.
The broadcast sees most. Can't say it sees all.
No.
Only Martin Plute.
We need a much bigger team to see all.
So we jump on board here with Martin Plute. 6 laps remaining.
This is such a just technical, tiring track.
That's for sure. I mean, you know, it's 45 laps, which you sit there and say, oh, 45 laps. That's totally fine. The race is, or each lap is about a little over 2 minutes long.
Mm-hmm.
And you're going all out the entire 45 laps.
Yeah, not to mention the feathering of the throttle, the multiple adjustments on the wheel in each direction, every single turn, of which there's, 11, 12?
Yes, something along those lines.
Yeah. Bogue cut one of the Plute bends. I think he actually took the same.
Let's see here. No, yeah, look at that. Bogue takes the longer version of the Martin Plute corner. And I was about to say Plute's going to show us how it's done, but it's a different corner. That's the Jason Shoe corner.
Yeah, that's.
So here's Amberg. 5 laps remaining.
Barring something catastrophic, I think these positions are the race.
Yes. So we are going to be chatting with Martin Plute, Reese Bogue, and Ethan Amberg for tonight's broadcast. For the podium interviews.
Again, barring something catastrophic.
Yes. Evan Williams heads down pit road. Amberg through the S's. Off towards turn 9. Now down towards the hairpin. '14 of Ethan Amberg really putting on a show tonight. Picked up the lead after a Reese Bogue penalty and was able to not only maintain the lead, but drive away with the lead over Bogue.
Yeah, I definitely want to talk to him about the adjustments that he made, because it looks like his pit time is just like snap adjusted.
Pretty wild, really.
Yeah.
And I know there's really nothing you can adjust in a fixed series race like this in-car wise, but a lot of it, I'm sure, just managed hitting your marks, getting ready to go, and
speak of the devil.
Yellow flag is out.
What happened?
And Joe, this changes everything. That might have been the stage caution.
It said it was flagged on Houseman.
Let's see here. Let's take a peek. Because I am certainly intrigued. Looks like, yeah, Houseman did throw the yellow. I am going to look to see when, in fact, the yellow flag does come out.
Mm-hmm.
Just to look to see if anyone was off track or sideways or anything. And the answer to that is no.
So that's just that's the stage.
So the stage break comes out with 4 laps to go.
Wild.
And I'm sure right now, Amberg is punching at the air. And I'm sure he's saying some very nice things. As, oh, Bogue takes the Martin Plute corner.
I would have loved to see the collab cam for Plute when that yellow hit.
This very well is going to change the entire complexity of this race.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Amberg has been running fantastic laps, but so has Bogue. They just haven't been able to catch each other. But now they're going to restart next to each other.
In overtime.
Yep.
With quite likely fresh tires.
Yep.
As Amberg does catch up to the pace car. Going an excruciatingly slow 45 miles an hour.
I think the pace car speed is 40.
Oof. Even worse.
Yeah. We're doing on-ramp speeds.
If you're from Pennsylvania. We kid. Honestly, I don't know if there's anyone from PA in the in the league here.
You never know.
A lot of Northeast PA guys in TNR, so they would at least appreciate the joke.
Yeah.
So this is going to be a wild change of events.
Yeah, I have to throw out my questions and get new ones now.
Yeah, you hear that
be
crinkling
like,
in the background?
With all of that green race we've had, now I have to just crumple that all up and throw it away.
As we see the tire tracks there through the S's. So now that the yellow comes out, who is going to win this? Amberg, Bogue, Plute, or Branson? Branson's going to get the lucky dog.
Yeah.
So he'll get his lap back. There's Shu. Shu catches up with the field. Plute is still 45 seconds back.
That's a long way to get back to the field, get to the pack.
And mind you, he's doing race pace while these guys are doing 40. As Amberg gonna play with the Porsche safety car.
Just seeing what's in there.
And right here, I'm sure you could just clutch in and you'd still be going faster than the pace car. Down the hill and all. So we'll see here, do the leaders pit? No.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because they kind of just got their
There's
tires.
Plute.
Interesting.
Plute goes down pit road.
I wonder what his game plan is.
I think at this point, Plute's guaranteed to start third regardless. So if he's going to get fresh tires,
catch
might
up
as well
before
put
the
them
lap
to the
is up.
test. Yeah.
Give himself the best chance. Branson.
So Branson's going to go around and get his lap back. And we'll wait for Plute to finish his to finish up here.
Did not get flagged.
Yes, no penalty there. But he's basically going to have to run. Oh, no, he's not. There he goes. He's able to catch up to the field. Looks like the lights on the pace car are off. But let's take a look here. Let's chat with Martin Plute just to see what exactly he's got going on and what his thoughts are here heading into this green-white checkered. Hey, Martin Plute, Bob G and Joe here in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Well, we were looking like this thing was going to be on its on the home stretch. Then the yellow comes out. Now we've got a 2-lap shootout here. What are your thoughts? Looks like you just came down, got some fresh tires. Looking to make some moves here?
Yeah, we'll see. Looks like the struggle for the first 2/3 of the race is going to be worth it here. Running a double stint on that first set, which was just not fun at all. So looks like it's going to pay off, and I still don't know if that's enough to pass any of these guys, Reese or Ethan, but I guess we'll try.
Definitely. And you know, we were seeing there. Looks like you were having a couple issues there in the S's. We were jokingly calling them the Martin Plute corner, but you know, as long as we're able to keep it on the asphalt here, these last 2 laps should be fun seeing you out there.
Yeah, this corner up here is going to be the one that kills me. What is it, 7, 8? Yeah, this is off to the right. You'll see this nice sand trap. I'm very familiar with the sand trap. It's my friend. We're going to go play golf later.
I was going to say, you got your driver in the car or your sand wedge?
Yeah. It's funny, driving a golf club and driving a car, I end up at the same place, the sand. But yeah, as long as we stay out of there, I think it should be okay.
Awesome. Well, Martin, we'll get you back there up in the chat. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thanks, see you guys.
All right, that's Martin Plute, driver of the number 81 machine here, and always having a good time to chat.
So for those of you who voted yes in the poll, you are technically correct.
Why, yes, Bogue has caught Amberg. But like we've said previously, catching him is one thing, passing him is something completely different.
Yeah.
And mind you, Tim Branson right now, about a minute behind the pack.
I was going to say,
trying to catch up.
Still trying. It is such a big, long, technical track. How long is this track? 2.98 miles.
Yeah, 2.98 miles. As we see all the info right there for the track. The lights have not turned off on the pace car.
Yeah, not completely, man.
So looks like we're going to be going green next time by as Stan Hausman heads down pit road.
Yep. Figure why not?
Yeah, I mean, if he's right now, it looks like Hausman and Williams are the only 2 drivers 1 lap down.
Mm-hmm.
So if Hausman thinks, all right, those fresh tires, that'll help me get one, you know, pick up that 1 position, get me that top 5, why not?
Yeah, it looks like Branson pitting as well. I I caught him. We're here. I'm in fourth. I'm with these guys. Let's get a fresh set of tires.
Yeah, and you know, at this point, you might as well. It's a free pit stop. You keep your position. Yeah, you may be behind a couple of the lapped cars, but really, Branson's only going to be behind Williams, Hausman, and Shu.
Mm-hmm.
They're respectful drivers. They all know, okay, this guy's on the lead lap. Let's, just go ahead. You're good. Go for it. So they're not going to, hold him up or play any games or any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I'm, I think if I'm Branson, why not come down pit road? Heck, even if I was Bogue or Amberg, I'd say, all right, you know what? I've proven that I can get around this track quickly. I've proven that I can do it on old tires. I can do it on fresh tires. I might as well come down. But then again, maybe the leaders don't have tires in the box.
Yeah.
That's also the question that we have here. So, this could get hairy. Let us know in the chat who you think is going to win tonight. You got 4 options. You got a 25% shot at calling the winner. Branson,
unless
Amberg, or Bogue.
Unless, and I am not a betting man that would do this, if the top 4 wreck, it's Williams' race.
Honestly.
We'd be talking to Williams, Hausman, and Chu.
Which we talked to 2 of those 3 drivers last week after the wild race at Chicago, Kansas.
Yeah.
So anything can happen. As the field makes its way through Martin Plute Corner.
Oh, lights are off on the pace car.
So we are going green this time by.
As the sun dips down, looks like we will be ending this nice and partly cloudy.
There are no lights here at Twin Ring Motegi. Nor are there lights on the cars, just stickers.
Huh.
We've run races in other leagues where we run a race at night, not realizing the track's lights do not work. There's nothing like driving a stock car through the corners at Phoenix with no lights on and pitch black, only to use the lights from the safety car every corner.
Yeah.
You don't know danger until you've done that.
Oh boy. That's when you need a spotter with a flashlight.
Get one of those light up sticks that you see air traffic controllers use. Doing the hand motions and everything. Turn left, turn left, inside, to left. There's a wall.
Can you imagine if those are just lined on the road because it's cheaper than installing lights? Just thousands of those little orange sticks.
I would not put it past them. But here
fire to use.
We go. Pace car is off. 2-lap shootout. We're in overtime. Ethan Amberg on the loud pedal. Green flag in the air. 2 laps remaining here in the Gold Octopus Grand Prix. Big slide from Amberg. Amberg drives in deep. Here comes Bogue. Bogue to the inside. Now Plute puts on the pressure. Jason Shu a little bit sideways there. Can Amberg battle back? Amberg falls from first to third, about 2.8 seconds back.
And just like that.
What a tough break there for Amberg.
Yeah. Oop.
Let's take a quick look
There
at that
goes
one.
Shu. There goes Williams.
As we just see Amberg go off. Jason Shu also goes off track here right in front of Williams. Big slide off the corner. But there's the gap between Plout and Amberg, or Plout and Bogue rather. 1.6 seconds. Fresh tires versus old tires. Does Plout have enough? Down the hill into turn 11. Now through 12. Through the final corner, down the front straightaway, white flag in the air. One more lap here for Reese Bogue. Can Bogue complete the comeback? After a course-cutting penalty, had him sitting in the pits with 25 or so laps to go. In his pit box for under a minute. That gave the lead to Amberg. Amberg had the race won until the stage caution came out with 4 laps remaining. Plout sideways drifting through the corner. That's going to open up the door for Amberg to catch him. But meanwhile, out front, it's Reese Bogue. Opens the gap up to about 3.5 seconds. Through turn 6. Now into the S's. Bogue gets through it. Plout and Amberg get through it. The battle for 5th has Stan Hausman now in front of Williams. As here comes Plout driving down deep into the hairpin. Meanwhile, out front, Reese Bogue has this race all on him. Heavy braking into turn 11. One final time now through turn 12. Redemption in the air for Reese Bogue. Checkered flag. Reese Bogue is going to win the Gold Octopus Grand Prix.
What a wild turn of it.
Absolutely crazy. Martin Plout comes home second. Ethan Amberg comes home third. Tim Branson comes home fourth. Hausman beats Williams at the line as Jason Shu crashes down the back straightaway. Oh! Not only does he crash, he money shifts it. So just like that, Bogue drifts that one through the corner. Definitely deserving of that finish.
Yeah, what a wild. But we said anything could happen.
And I think our exact words were barring anything crazy. Well, the crazy has happened.
Yes, it has.
So Reese Bogue is your winner tonight. Drifting through the corners.
Drifting is a strong word.
Sliding with style through the corners.
Do you imagine having a NASCAR like in real life? You forget you were in iRacing, you win, and then you money shift. Like, oops.
Oftentimes, a lot of drivers in the in the 2010s would purposefully destroy the tires, which would destroy the quarter panels, so they can pass inspection by default.
Oops.
There's even been race communication saying, "Hey, when you're doing donuts, whatever you do, don't hit the wall." Wink, wink. But there is that finish. And Joe, I believe you've caught up with our third place finisher, driver of the number 14 car, Ethan Amberg.
Hey, Ethan, congratulations on the podium finish. Crazy race. You kind of snuck into first place with what looked like a penalty on Bogue, and then were able to hold it for quite a long time. It looks like you kind of uh, got into a really good groove with your lap times. What kind of adjustments did you make?
I was staying really consistent with the braking zone. I focused on trying to mentally think about saving fuel so I didn't overdrive any corners until that restart. But that was a lot of fun. Kept it consistent. I think all of us had issues on pit road at least once. My first stop, I spun it into the barrels at the end of pit road. So.
Yeah, yours wasn't too bad. Bogue and Plute definitely just drove in there real hard. How did
Could have been worse.
how did traffic management play out with the kind of slower cars or the lap traffic during a mostly green race?
For me, it wasn't bad at all. It was pretty consistent. A lot of the guys that were going laps down moved out of the way. Even Martin and I swapped positions a couple times just to keep the flow of time going. It honestly was pretty clean. Didn't really feel held up really much at all. Maybe one or two corners here or there, but it was a good time. Everybody kept it clean.
Yeah. And what happened at the end over there after that yellow restart? It kind of looks like he just slid out. Uh, what happened?
Yeah, since it was a restart, I assumed we were going to be going into one a little bit slower than we had been.
Mhm.
So to protect the lead, I drove it in about half a car length deeper and got a little bit of wheel hop and then locked up the right front, I think, and just slid through the corner. Luckily, there was nobody there, but not a fun way to end it.
Yeah. Well, either way, huge finish for you. Um, great race overall. You have any shout outs for us?
It was a great race. Congrats to Martin and Reese. They did a great job today. Kept it clean. It was a good time racing with them. Appreciate you guys for putting this broadcast on. It's always great, fun to go back and watch when things are taken care of and all said and done. Guys over at Highline Motorsports always do a good job. We were a bit thin in the pack today, but everybody has a good time.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much and good luck next week.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Nah, I don't know. I think it was more just Ethan overcooked turn one. Uh, I definitely didn't have anything for Reese, so it was interesting, but yeah, just nothing. They weren't warm enough to do anything. They were just frozen bricks out there. I didn't keep focus at all. No, I was bored. I was bored to death for most of that race. As you can tell, I brought a friend. You still have a camera? I brought a friend for the post race. The good old sand wedge. That's why I visited my friend, the sand bunker. No, I'll be honest, road course racing, when you got Ethan and Reese that just kind of go out there and dominate a lot, it's tough. It's tough. Usually me and Chris are pretty close to each other, and that keeps it somewhat interesting. But when you got a pack way up front and way behind you, um, it's hard to really keep concentration and focus. It's kind of almost boring for quite a bit of it. Well, there's no sand. Um, but so I don't know who I'm gonna hang out with. No, it should be a good race. I like Milwaukee. It's usually pretty fun. You can get some spread out racing. Um, definitely should be better than this. So it'll be good. It'll be good to. I don't think I've ever actually taken Xfinity cars there, so that should be good to try out.
Fair enough. Well, Martin, before we let you go, I'm sure you have some shout outs, so let's hear them.
No, thank you guys. Thanks for hosting. Ethan and Reese. I did not deserve second place tonight, so it's always good, somewhat racing with them. They're usually much faster at road course racing than I am, and everybody kept it very respectful tonight. So that was nice to see. And shout out to my friend. We need to name the sand bunker next week. So you guys come up with some names. We gotta name my friend.
I think we could do that.
Yeah, we got to name my friend here. But shout out to him for keeping me entertained some of the race.
Well, Martin, congrats there on the second place finish, and looking forward to chatting with you next week.
All right, see you guys.
Take care. All right, that is Martin Plute, driver of the number 81 machine. There tonight, our second place finisher. And Joe, I believe you've caught up in victory lane with driver of the number 4, Reese Bogue.
Hey, Reese, congratulations on the victory. Crazy race. We didn't think you were going to be able to catch up after the penalty pit. Yellow comes in. What was your thought process?
Yeah, so I guess I was kind of really lucky we have the rule there for the yellow. First pit stop, I don't know if you guys saw it. I didn't even run laps at this track until about 5:30 p.m. this afternoon. Like I never even really been around this place, so I was just trying to get the line down and get the track down, and I went to go to pit road the first time, and I'm like, all right, here's pit road entrance, and blew right over the grass, and
Oh yeah, we saw.
and I didn't get a penalty or nothing for that. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna be more conservative and actually take the road this time. Well, come to find out, I took the wrong road in the second pit stop, so that's where I got the penalty. And
we followed that one too.
Yeah. I was just thinking after that one that I'm like, all right, I know I got a yellow, so I just was trying to just stay on track and save the X's if needed at the end there to go off track or whatever. And I was just was able to kind of just be conservative, and then when the yellow came, just play it right, get a good restart, and he kind of overshot turn one, but crossing over right there and drive off to the lead.
Well, yeah, great race, and yes, we were following your pit entrances. Look more like exactly how not to pit entrance, but they ended up working. How did you manage your throttle and brake inputs throughout the race? Because we were watching your lap times, and they were just so consistent.
Yeah, so before I got in here tonight in my own practice session, like I said before, I was really running like 159s, like here and there, but then it'd be like a 201, 202. So I knew the race pace was gonna be right around a 202. And I was just trying to kind of keep the tires cool, not overheat them or slide them. And I will say something that really helped. I kind of installed today, called like the butt kicker, like the haptic deal, and I could really feel like I'm hitting the curb or whatever. So that helped a lot. Like that was a different feeling, and man, I raced in real life on road courses, and it feels pretty good for what it is. So I will. I really like the fact there that that I was able to feel that, but yeah, I was just trying to be consistent and be smooth and keep a lot of heat out of the tires and just not really push it. Just trying to be easy and trying to race a stock car like you're supposed to race a stock car, nice and slow, fluid movements.
Awesome. Well, fantastic job. You have any shout outs for us?
Yeah, I want to give a shout out to Motegi Set Shop, Stint Analyzer, Regenboog Motorsports, the Gold Octopus Motorsports. I know we had a few less guys here tonight instead of like 8. We had like 2, but still had a good time. And yeah, thank you guys for putting this on. I thank my parents for watching this tonight. And yeah, it was pretty good. I had a good time. Thank you guys for putting this on. And see you next week in Milwaukee.
Awesome. Well, congratulations again. Huge victory. Good luck next week, and hopefully we'll see you here.
Yes, sir. Thank you, guys.
All right, that will do it for tonight's interviews. Just a ton of fun. Great racing we saw all evening long. A lot of drama, but at the end of the day, it all came home and had a great battle. Let's take a look here at the results for tonight's race. Reese Bowe gets the win over Martin Plute and Ethan Amberg. Tim Branson on the lead lap. Stan Hausman, Evan Williams both 1 lap down in 5th and 6th. Jason Shu in 7th, and Sedaris Deus rounds out the field here. 8 cars tonight at Mobility Resort Motegi for the Gold Octopus Grand Prix. And Joe, next week, Milwaukee Mile, flat 1 mile oval, could be chaos, could be strung out racing, but all we know is going to be a ton of fun next week.
Yeah, always excited for that track. It's one of my favorites.
Well, we are going to be there next Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Our next broadcast here on the Tabletop Trio Podcast Network will be Monday night, 8 o'clock Eastern with the Total Nonstop Racing League. And then on Tuesday, we have the Speed Xfinity Series. Tomorrow, we'll have a replay of the Tabletop Trio Podcast live from the Gundam Kitchen, so make sure you check that out on our Twitch and YouTube channels. So, for one final time, I'm Bob.
I'm Joe.
And this has been the Speed Xfinity Series Gold Octopus Grand Prix at Mobility Resort Motegi. Have a great night.